everybody. Welcome to the Sharon and Joe Show. My name is Sharon.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year's. My name is Joe.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. And Joe and I are recording this on New Year's. So it right now is 2023, but it's almost 2024.
It's 6 hours before the stroke of midnight. So
Yes.
bye-bye 2023. But it wasn't, we are blessed. I have to think Sharon's an optimist, like through and through her heart. And she feels sad sometimes or gets afraid sometimes. But for the most part, and me, I got to work my ass off to understand and to be grateful for the things that I have.
Well, Joe and I have very different personalities, but it works really well together. Like we fit together perfectly, I think.
It's synergistic, symbiotic, however you want to say it, is good.
Yeah, it works. So, so we're coming here tonight, New Year's Eve, and we thought, well, first of all, we'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go to a big party, drink lots of alcohol, and...
I can't drink alcohol, honey. I'll be the
Damn,
designated driver.
that ruins my night.
I'm going to McDonald's because it's one of my favorite places to go. I go like a couple times a year if they're open, and then we're going to come back home, and hopefully I can talk Sharon into seeing Oppenheimer, the movie, maybe, hopefully, and we're going to sit by the fireplace and have some hot chocolate, and hopefully I won't forget to kiss her at midnight tonight.
You guys, well, Joe knows he let me down the last 2 New Year's, so we'll see. But you know what is weird? Like you say this, you probably will do it tonight, but I'm okay with it now. I'm over it.
I'll set the alarm for 5 minutes too, so I'll be up.
All right, the romance doesn't end. So we thought we would talk a little bit about our New Year's resolutions. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Just like a fun video.
Yeah, and I'm not big into the resolutions. I do like the idea of a new year and like tangibly, finally, like to have things within our grasp. You know, one of the biggest things is, and I'm no saint. Sharon's an excellent mother and a parent. I try to do the best I can, but our children are on the right path. They're doing good. And now it's kind of like our time. So I have to eliminate all excuses of making sure my son goes here and there. They're old enough now to be young adults. And now it's like, okay, no, it's time for me to continue to evolve, to be the best I can be, to live the message, to be the message of hope. That's my responsibility as a human here on earth.
Well, I think especially for you, Joe, I've noticed this about you. You are very, I'm going to try to think of the right way to say this. It's not like a bad thing, but I think it hurts you. You are, I feel like for years, like decades, maybe your whole life, you have felt responsible for everybody else. And Joe is really, really, really at the bottom of the list. And I always try to encourage you not to be selfish or a jerk, but that, like your kids are older, right? Like they don't need you to hold their hand all the time. And I think even like you do this with me too. And, obviously I'm older than your kids, but I think like with me too, like you say this sometimes, you'll just say, well, I just want to make sure you're okay. Like, I just got to make sure you're okay, as if you won't be there. Like in the same with your kids, right? Like as if, well, I need to make sure that so-and-so's okay. And my youngest is okay, just in case. Like, I think you're constantly like thinking in this way that something bad might happen, and you personally are the only one that can set everybody up for a good life, and you want to prepare our lives to go on without you.
And I'm not that powerful, and I don't have a lot of money, so I think it's the trauma, because there's been many times the last not since I've been with you, but even though like there's been many threats, many things that have happened before, during and after the toxic relationship that I was in, where at many points, for real, I didn't think I was going to make it. Like, I really didn't. And like something would happen, heart attack, like high blood pressure. I would relapse and jump off a bridge, God forbid, something. And I think it's the trauma of what I've been through. And the ones I love, like being a single parent for all that time, even when you're with the narcissist, they're no parent. And even after they're gone and you have kids, and it's just, they don't know the world the way we do. And the narcissist was just the tip of the iceberg. That was the precipice. That was a climax. But before that, like, the drugs and alcohol when I was younger. I had to be homeless. I mean, it was bad, and it could be a really bad world out there, and you have to be strong mentally, physically, spiritually, and seeing like children grow up, and it's just like they're not ready, man. I got to make sure.
Well, I agree with you. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I think I know you do this. I don't think that you put yourself in the position of, okay, you know what? I have to make sure everything's lined up perfectly for these kids. Like, or you do that to me too, like with the dog, like everything has to be perfectly lined up. Like, because like they might not survive. And I don't think you mean it in a way like without me. Like, I don't think it's like that, but you kind of put yourself as like, I think you just had pressure on you your whole life, and you feel that pressure, and it's just, you can't relax, you can't breathe until you know that if something happened to you. You do this to me too. I mean, you do this with my kids. Like recently, I don't know if you remember this. I can't remember what happened, but you said something along the lines of, Paris wants to have a cat so bad, right? She wants this kitten so badly. And you said something along the lines of, this is why she can't get a cat, because she's never going to be able to be free, or she's going to have this and that. And like, you think that way. You don't think that, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, and I think it's sweet that you do this. I just don't think it's fair to you, where, you want everything to be perfect for everybody else, and you can take nothing into your life that might be an inconvenience to you, like at some point.
Now, and I'm no martyr or no saint, so here's a challenge for me. Now that my children are on the right path, and I know that they're going to be able to handle themselves in life, am I going to try to look for an excuse to not be the best I can be? So it's like, now there's no excuse to be like, all right, Joe, it's time to get off your ass and to be the best that you can be. And I've tried to live by that principle this whole time. Is I've allowed pain to be a motivator more than love. And it's like letting love be the motivator of it, not my ego, not the pain, but the pain is gone. How do I transmute this experience that I've had into something good? So I think my resolution is it's time to be the best I can be. No excuses. I got to worry about my son here or Paris or a youngest son or anything like that. It's like they're all on the right track, man. So now it's time. It's like, I think it's part of my codependent qualities. And like when the narcissist left, I have two teenage boys, or my eldest son was a little older, 2 cats, a dog. And it was like I was left alone. And man, I know what it took. And for me, it took God to carry me through.
One thing I learned, and maybe I'm dead wrong on this, so forgive me if I am, I do think there's a difference between men and women when it comes to being like a single parent. I can remember when I found out that you were a single dad. I didn't even know you that well at all. I just knew you from comments. And I can remember just even being impressed with that. And then it just, there's a different, I don't know. I think it's, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just dead wrong. So tell me.
And no offense to any liberal people out there, or transgenders, or like they're trying to say some masculine, feminine thing.
I'm telling you, like literally just my off the top of my head thoughts on this. Like, I do feel it's easier for a woman to be a single parent. Like, I just do. I think there's like, and I'm not talking financially, by the way, that's not necessarily true. I guess I just mean, and I don't know, maybe I'm talking nonsense. So tell me if I am. I guess I just feel like, and maybe it's just me, you guys, I wanted to be a mom my whole life. That's my dream in life, was to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, that was what I wanted. That was my dream, and so it was just natural for me. Like, I wanted to have, I had infertility issues. Otherwise, I would have had 4 or 5 kids. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, Joe's looking at me right now. But really, like, I wanted that. And so when it was...
You're different. Well, I don't mean you're different. Like, I think many people wanted to have children. I did too. You're super mom. Like, you're incredible. Like, for real, guys, she's like incredible. I could see like a single mother like struggling her ass off. Like,
but I'm not talking financial. Financial's different than just, like you say to me sometimes, Joe, like, it's nothing to me to make dinner. Like, it's part of my day. Like, I get up, I take a shower, I make dinner. Like, it means nothing to me. You said to me, oh, it's like such a burden, or you have to take care of the animals. Like, I love taking care of my animals. You know what I mean? Like, it's very natural to me. Making dinner is absolutely nothing. But I think for a man, like, I don't know. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think there is a wrong or right. For me, what I had him, it was cutting the grass, shoveling the driveway, getting to the school, doctor's appointment here, working full time, even more than that, and dinner, and trying to make this like normal atmosphere. And in the inside, I'm screaming. You
Yeah.
know, it was just a difficult thing. So now that everything's aligned and okay, it's like not in a selfish way, but it's like my time now.
Now it's time to move. Yeah.
And it can be very sneaky because, like, as a codependent, like, I didn't understand that I was self-seeking, that I was in denial. It's very easy to point at a narcissist and not see my own shortcomings. So I'm trying to pay attention and stay conscious of.
You know, you say codependent. I just wanted to say something. I know I've told you this before, like privately. I believe that you were codependent. I believe that you were. You have, I don't think you're even close to that now.
I've learned.
Yeah,
I have definitely learned.
Like, I feel like even you're always like at the opposite end. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that in you at all. And I mean that as like a compliment, but just
There's
so
value,
that you've grown.
There's values and boundaries that I've learned, and it's just like I hold to those standards, and if somebody in any way, it could be a little bit over the top, although I don't think it is. It's just like, no, I won't tolerate this. This is not right. You know what I mean? And then to say something and to let the other person know, and to be aware that I need to live up to those when I'm with you or anybody else, like to respect and other people and what they've gone through. I admire you. I respect you. I love you. You know, it's easy for me to do that with you, but with other people, and sometimes I piss you off. But you know, so the most part, I guess my resolution would be to live for me now. And that part of that, ironically, is like helping others. It's staying still more often. It's paying attention to the nutrients that I'm putting in my body, like just all kinds of things. You know, it's finally, you guys, after 3 years, in a few months, I'll be at even financially. It's been nuts.
Well, you guys know this. I mean, it's no joke when you're dealing with a narcissist. You know, Joe and I, because we're both divorced now, we're thinking more so like moving, you know, we're not right in the middle of the entanglements anymore, thank God. But even when it's over, there's repercussions. I mean, there just are. Like, and Joe and I are really big about, we both realize that we're wronged in many ways, right? But also part of healing is understanding your wrongs as well. You know what I mean? The things like you said to me, I can't remember what it was about, but recently you said, you know, there's repercussions, like, you know, the decisions I made. And I agree with you that that's the same with me. And it's time to kind of get past that. We've had, you know, for many of us, like Joe and I, we've had 20 years. And sometimes this is a real problem for me. Like, I struggle with this, you guys. 20 years, like, gone. You know what I mean? And it's so unfair. And it's difficult to start over. Like, I'm determined to do it. But I feel like in some ways, like we were in a coma, right? And all of a sudden I woke up and, oh my God, like, I went in a coma. Paris was 2 years old and now she's 20. Like, what happened?
It's a shock, you know. And then in the middle of it all, this, you know, I don't have this career that I should have had, that I could have had I have not made.
Oh, these are all, yeah, exactly. The repercussions. Same with me. I went to be a stay-at-home mom. That's what I did. I got my wish, but I was with the wrong guy.
Yeah, and Sharon's no pushover. She's got a PhD in veterinary science, so it's like starting over. In midlife, in midstream, it could be difficult. It would be a great excuse to use, as I said, like, not to grow and be the best I can be. I don't want to do that. Like, I've been through too much, and like, my story and my experience could help others. And I have so much to learn still.
Well, you know, guys, I really, I don't know why I have an interest in World War II. And I've thought many, many times, you know, and I'm not trying to say that we're like Holocaust survivors. I would never be so rude. I'm just saying, like, my point in telling you this is that I've thought many times, there are people that went through the Holocaust and they were done for. They never got over it. They didn't thrive ever. Then there were people that went through that hell and lived their best life. You know, they started a business, they had a new family, they thrived after it. And I want to be somebody that thrives after. I don't care if I'm 20, 30, 40, 107. Like, I want to live my life. Like, I have a desire. Like I told you guys, I always wanted to be like a mom. Like, that was what I wanted more than anything. And I have that same desire now, but I want it I want a life with you, Joe. Like I want to have our life now.
For those survivors, there's no judgment or right or wrong. I get it. Like, I shouldn't be here, so I get that. One thing that I heard that really kind of inspired me, speaking of World War II and the Holocaust survivors, this guy got out of Europe after the Holocaust. He survived concentration camp, and he moved to New York. And he said, my family, my relatives were all dead, and they left me with, I think it was $10,000. He said, and you know what I did? I bought a building, and it was the only money that I had. I bought the building and I rented out, and here I am, like so many years later, and he's a millionaire. He said, people like commend me for this wise decision I made. He said, this is it. I almost died. Like I was tortured. I was starved. He's like, spending the last of my $10,000 was nothing. It was like, it was a risk, but he after what he's been through, He was like, so it kind of was just like, after everything that we've been through, man, and facing our greatest fears and all that shit, now I'm gonna lay down and die? Like, like I have a purpose still, obviously. The experience that I've been through could help other people. That alone is not a liability, it's an asset. It's just, it takes some time. For different people, some people aren't married and we're with a narcissistic entanglement. It all depends, but here we are, and finally, we're able to start living our best life for ourselves, whatever that means for us and what that might mean for you.
Yeah, we know that bad things can happen. You guys know that bad things can happen, but
shit happens,
Yeah, it does. It happens to everybody. It does to a degree, but we have this opportunity, all of us, no matter where you are. Like maybe you're still with the narcissist. I mean, because we were with the narcissist a couple years ago, and like it would have been my biggest fantasy to think about actually being free, and you can do it. You can do it. Like you can live your life. It might not happen tomorrow, but I know that you can. Joe and I, we make these videos and we talk to you guys, and we had very similar story. We're with Narcs the same amount of time. We both have 2 kids around the same age, and we get each other. We get you guys too. And if we can do it, you guys, there is literally nothing special about us at all. You can do it too.
Yeah, if you heard our story, then you probably know. You're probably thinking, well, I wasn't that bad. If so, God bless you. It's funny that you mentioned, like, some people, you might be at a point where your greatest desire, your fantasy is to get the hell away, but you think you can't because you're, like, if you're at that stage and you're not at the, like, I forget, it's been a while since we discussed narcissism, but if you're not at the stage where you're still, like, you love that person and this and that and blah, 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 that's a good point to believe it or not. Like if your fantasy is, I need to get the hell out, but I can't, or whatever. It goes in stages, but it's baby stepping and taking action.
Yeah, I agree. And that actually might be another video. I've done videos like that in the past, but if you're in that situation, my greatest advice to you right now is save money. Save money. You're going to need it, We can talk about that later, but whatever point you're at, you guys, it's a new year. It's a clean. The slate is clean, right? Like you can do whatever you want this year, and so Joe and I are going to try and move forward, right? And I hope that you guys have a great year, just like I hope we do.
Yeah, we're a job, as human beings, is to be the best that we can be, to actually be the message, not carry it through our mouths, but to live that and to be a power of example and to eliminate any and all excuses that come into our thought. Yeah, but, anything after but is bullshit. So it's eliminating those excuses why you can't, and finding ways of why you can and actually doing it.
I agree. So I guess we will end 2023 with that, and we will see you next year, you guys.
God bless you guys.
Happy New Year.